whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Now, when we think of single malt, we usually have Scotland top of mind, which is normal, because after all, Scotland is still the largest producing country of Scotch whiskey in the world. Well, of whiskey in the world, I should say. Obviously, Scotch is always Scottish whiskey. But of course, there are many countries that make excellent single malt today. For example, France. There are currently over 40 whiskey distilleries operational in France. That should come as no surprise, as according to recent studies, the French are still the world's largest consumers of single malt, albeit Scotch. Now, you may be familiar with the Glenarmor in Brittany, or the Guillon whiskey distillery in the Champagne region. They actually matured their whiskey on barrels that previously held champagne wines. You might even be familiar with the fairly recent Bren whiskey in the Cognac region, but one that you might not be so familiar with is the Warenghem Distillery. Warenghem Distillery is a distillery in Brittany, on the sea border, very close to Great Britain. You will also find the Glenarmor Distillery over there, of course, who produce the Glenarmor single malt, but also the peated version with the name of Cornog. But the Warenghem Distillery produces a single malt called Armorik, and that's what I would like to talk to you about today. Now, actually, this distillery in Lannion, Warenghem, was the first French whiskey producer. They started producing single malt in 1987, and they bottled their first single malt in 1998. Now, I was lucky enough to get acquainted with the Armorik range at a tasting in Belgium last October. It was hosted by their charming brand ambassador, Clémence Vedren. Now, I was happily surprised with the quality, which exceeded my expectations by far. While I was not overly enthusiastic about their entry-level whiskies, the Brides, which is actually a blend of malted barley and wheat, and there's also a classic single malt and a double maturation, also a single malt that matured on Brittany oak and Oloroso sherry casks, but I was seriously impressed with their Maître De Chai bottlings and their Millésime releases. Now, Maître De Chai basically translates into cellar master, so in Scotland they would probably be called the warehouse managers, I suppose. The Millésime is a term from the wine industry, and it means vintage, so those are actually single cask releases, and they are bottled at cask strength. And I would very much like to present these to you today. It's not really a head-to-head, because the Maître De Chai and the Millésime are totally different whiskies, but they are two very lovely French single malt releases to be discovered. So let's get to work, and we'll start with the Maître De Chai. The Maître De Chai, or I should say Maître De Chai, Armorik Single Malt, is basically a first fill Oloroso sherry cask. It is limited to 1,700 bottles. This is their second edition. This was the first one. They changed the label a bit, although there was nothing wrong with the first label in my opinion. But anyway, this Maître De Chai is matured, like I said, on a Oloroso sherry cask, a first fill sherry cask, and it is bottled at a drinking strength of 46% ABV. On the other hand, we have here a Armorik Single Malt Millésime 2002, which is basically a single cask, but distilled in 2002. It matured for 4 years on a bourbon cask, and then it got a finish of 8 years on a second fill Oloroso sherry cask, and it was bottled in 2014. And it yielded, let me check this, it yielded 723 bottles. I've got bottle 616. It is a single cask number 3298, and it is bottled in this case at a at a cask strength of 55.7% ABV. The Maître De Chai goes first. It is a bit darker as than the Millésime. It is a bronze almost, an old gold to bronze. It clings to the glass. I love it when it clings to the glass, because that means it's going to be quite a good body on this single malt. On the nose, I get lovely hints of almonds and candied lime. Some pine cones and black grapes. This is very nice. Very sweet and dark, if you know what I mean. Oh God, this is good. On the palate then. Mouth coaty, creamy, sweet and spicy. I get some Seville oranges, a small bitter edge to it from Seville oranges, but a lot of licorice and cinnamon, and even a hint of goat cheese, which is not an off note, by the way. On the finish then. finish is wonderfully long. Cinnamon, licorice, dark sweet fruit notes. Wow. Wow, this, and to think that this is only 6 years old and it was available for less than 60 euros. That's what I would call bang for your buck. On the other hand, we've got the Millésime, or the single cask, which is bottled in this case on cask strength, like I said, 55.7%. It's got this nice golden, full golden color on the nose. Again, dark fruit, but loads of honey in here. I get some cloves and some mushrooms. Again, this is not an off note. This is some earthiness from, I presume, from the Oloroso sherry cask. I even get some pear drops, like sirop de liège, if you know what I mean, the dark pear syrup. Loads of licorice here as well. Oh, the cloves are becoming big. It's actually less sweet than the this Maître De Chai, which was, of course, first fill Oloroso, bourbon, and second fill Oloroso, and the Millésime on the palate. Wow. Cask strength, and it gives a nice kick to the teeth. On the palate I get candied sugar, I get some cherries, dark fruit again, but this has a salty edge. The finish. Wow, the finish is, it's long but very balanced between sweet and salt. This, wow, shut up and take my money. This 12-year-old single cask to me is actually a near perfect single malt. 85 euros only. Get it while you can. Now, Armorik from Warenghem in Lannion in France, you are doing it right. You have to seek this out. This is not top of mind when you go shopping for single malt. Armorik Single Malt, a French single malt, will not be top of mind. But please, please, seek it out. Go and try this for yourself. You will not be disappointed. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling. And I hope to see you again at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you.